Say a big thank you to everyone in Vermont who's helped me over the years, however, food, whatever you've helped with. I'm very grateful. Thank you for giving me the best birthday I've ever had. Every other birthday was uh, just miserable. You're a trafficking victim. You've got no freedom. You've got no future. You know, you're one of the most intellectually gifted people on the planet, but yet you've got nothing, and everybody hates your guts because they think they want what you've got. Oh, she's gifted, and they see it as some sort of power or privilege. I don't know what the hell goes through their minds when they see somebody that has some sort of intellectual gift. I guess because most people who are gifted are scooped up by the establishment, enslaved, and just paid very, very well, and then lose all control of their intellectual property. I think a good example of that would be the Beatles. The Beatles never wanted their fucking songs to be used by Chevrolet. Um, and that happened because Michael Jackson bought their catalog because it was owned by whoever, some company owned by BlackRock for sure. And then I guess he was in debt and he sold the rights to Revolution to GMC or Chevrolet or whoever owned Chevrolet. I don't know if it was GMC, Chevy. I don't remember how. Somebody ended up buying up all of them. So they even bought Chrysler bought Mercedes Benz. Mercedes Benz isn't produced in Germany anymore. They don't have the rock star German engineers building those cars anymore. But anyway, I had the best birthday ever because there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Not just for me, but a whole lot of murder victims that didn't get to live to fight for themselves. I've been fighting for all those murder victims that I witnessed as a kid, and then everybody who's been murdered since I've come out as a whistleblower or harassed by police, targeted in some way. Um, a lot of them had kids, so there was only so much they could do for themselves. And make no mistake, if the special prosecutors, an independent JAG, and the state police in New York say that one or both of my parents were involved in any of that, their asses are going to jail too. I don't understand why Piper and Weinberger and whoever else keeps sending these Navy veterans to try to capture me, to try to schmooze me and charm me and create some sort of cronyism bond, like I'm gonna, and then try to influence me, like saying, oh, people want to criticize the people at the top, but they never want to be on top. Motherfucker, I'm a federal auditor. I audit everybody. I don't give a shit if you're Bill Kinnear living in a homeless shelter or Becky Burrow living in a HUD housing or Caton, or I don't give a shit who you are. I don't give a shit if you're at the bottom or at the top or somewhere in between. I'm going to audit the system. And guess what? There shouldn't be a fucking top or a bottom. When you talk that shit to me, that tells me you're all about the power construct. That is the same type of power construct apologetic bullshit that I've heard from all of Piper's shills. If you're at the top, like the presidency or the attorney general or a senator or a rep or a police officer, you're supposed to be in servitude to the bottom, motherfucker. That is exactly why you get paid with taxpayer dollars. That includes military personnel. All military personnel are supposed to be in servitude to we the people equally. Immigrants, people who are hoping to be immigrants, legal immigrants, on stolen fucking land, women, no matter what's your race, color, religion. You want freedom of speech for you when you're hurling rapist, racist epithets. Oh, but when we call you out on it, you're trading on my First Amendment right. You only think there's two amendments: your perverted version of the First Amendment and your perverted version of the Second Amendment that omits a whole lot. Fuck around and find out. When you send these motherfuckers to talk shit to me, you are not committing crimes against me only. For the most part, because I'm an agent of the Vermont State Police and Cousy and all these other federal and state and local investigators, because you stupid fucks had an official like Paul Dragon go online, pretend to be me, and get Vermont Medicaid in my name, committed perjury on the application, forged my electronic signature, and then typed up 2 sets of medical records at a clinic where I'm not their patient in hopes of billing that Vermont Medicaid for that shit, and then send all these motherfuckers to try to bully and coerce me into being their patient, thinking that if I sign a consent to treat form 6 years later that it justified that shit you did back then. No, you committed crimes against the state of Vermont. Plus, you did it while I was covered by New York. You falsified all my records and never reported. Gave the EMTALA violations and the fraud, Medicaid fraud by the New York and the other hospitals. So you committed crimes against the state of New York and the federal government. You're fucking threat to national security. And let's not forget the fucking bioweapons you injected into all those raccoons that you trapped and released in a children's preschool. You murdered Michaela Raines. You murdered Ben and Brandy and Alfonso. And you bragged about it. You hired idiots who are as arrogant and stupid as Pete Hegseth and Pam Bondi and Donald Trump, who bragged about it on security video. That they're tapped at the true independent investigators in both states are tapped into, and JAG. And you still keep sending these motherfuckers. You ain't breaking me. You're bashing your own head in by slamming it against this rock right here. You're the only motherfucker bleeding. Oh, I'm bleeding too, and I've got some issues. I'm going to survive. You're not. All your shit, all your assets are going to get seized. Your kids ain't going to be second, third, fourth, fifth generation billionaires. They ain't going to have shit, especially if they're involved in it. Barron might be the exception. Smartest thing Melania Trump could do is roll on Trump and everybody else and admit she's a trafficking victim so that her and Barron can get compensated. But they're not going to inherit Trump's entire estate because it's all going to get seized. If she had any brains at all, that's what she would do. So that at least her and Barron would be comfortable and safe for the rest of their lives. Fuck Don Jr., fuck Eric, fuck Ivanka, and anybody else who chose to join the Epstein criminal enterprise. And as far as the vote blue no matter who bullshit, all that, here's the problem with that. When Bernie Sanders endorses somebody, the people of the state of Vermont go along with whatever that person says. So if they've got a hit out on me, they're happy to jump in and help Kamala, Biden, or whoever kill me because they think it's sanctioned by Bernie Sanders, because that's how they fucking think. So yeah, I actually prefer a Trump presidency. When Biden stole the election from Trump, I was trembling, terrified, because I knew I would have enemies everywhere. Because once Bernie endorsed his ass, everybody was happy to help Biden kill me because, well, Bernie endorsed him, so, you know. So they thought they were killing for Bernie. So, yeah, I'm not all for the blue no matter who, as far as the presidency. Senate, with the congressional shit and mayors and attorneys general, state attorneys general, governors, that's not so much. But in the presidency, yeah, blue no matter who ain't gonna fly with me. If the Dems have the House and the Senate, you can have a Republican president all day long. If they're corrupt, you should be able to impeach that person. And voter shaming is exactly what sunk the Democrats in the first place. Remember when Obama came out and said that black men, they did a poll that showed that black men, very few of them supported Kamala, and he was like, you need to go support her. No, why the fuck are they going to support somebody who was happy to lock black men up and black women and families up in general? An attorney general, Kamala Harris, who enthusiastically went along with Joe Biden's Jim Crow crime bill rhetoric. No, you don't have to support your rapist and molester. Nobody's going to do that, especially when nobody voted for the bitch. How the fuck did she end up being the candidate? Oh, Joe Biden refused the primary. The DNC refused to hold a primary. He ended up being the candidate. Then they just, instead of having a primary, they just let him pick his successor. He knew Kamala wasn't going to win. They chose Trump. They chose Trump over having a primary and letting the Dem voters pick a candidate that could actually win, like AOC or Senator Sanders. I mean, he wasn't running in 2024, but he ran in 2020. They fucked him. So miss me with the vote blue no matter who. The Democrats chose not so former Clinton crony Democrat Trump. When you pretend that Trump isn't still a Clinton crony Democrat after his displays of publicly defending Bill Clinton, not only as a Democrat back during the Lewinsky impeachment, but then more recently when he was subpoenaed to testify before Congress, you're a blue MAGA bullshit. Nobody's going to listen to your motherfucking ass. You're not authentic. You're not trustworthy. You're pissing in our face, telling us it's raining. It's an insult to our tone. We're not going to fucking listen to you. Nobody's going to fucking listen to that. Especially from any YouTuber who makes a damn good living off the divide. Let's face it, if Trump wasn't pretending to be Republican and showing his ass the way he was, Kyle wouldn't have over 1 million fucking subs, and he damn sure wouldn't have all the support that they have on Patreon and people donating money. The divisive, if you're still talking red v blue or right v left bullshit, you're part of the fucking problem. That's exactly the same language that got us here. And if you're still hurling that bullshit, oh well, the left, what the fuck is the left? You're either for the U.S. Constitution or you're not. That should be the conversation. You are either against slavery and human trafficking and Epstein's regime in both parties, or you're not. You're either for the white patriarchal power heterodominant power construct, or you're not. That should be the only conversation. not red versus blue or right v left. Because I seem to remember Obama had 8 years. 2 of those years he had a majority of Democrats in the Senate and a majority of Democrats in the House. They didn't codify Roe v. Wade. They didn't do a motherfucking thing to help anybody. And the fascism during the scamdemic, don't even get me started on that. So if you're talking right v left or red versus blue, you're part of the problem. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck how much progressive talk you talk. We should not be divided between progressive Democrats or whatever. We should all be independent. There shouldn't be any Republicans, there shouldn't be any Democrats, there shouldn't be any progressives. We should all be independent of any political party, and we should be voting for the candidate that actually wants the Constitution supported, wants all the criminal legislation that has been passed for the past decades, from the municipal all the way up to the federal, that allows this criminal enterprise to go on. Like, you guys are sitting here saying we have to fight fascists with democracy. What? We don't have to fight fascist terrorist insurgents who are clearly a threat to national security, who are murdering militaries with, we don't have to handle them democratically. No, the fuck we don't. That reeks of Virginia Piper rhetoric.